What if you're not afraid that you're going to fail? What if you're afraid that you're going to succeed? Let's talk about something that's a little bit counterintuitive, and that is the fear of success. Because if you're an ambitious person and you are feeling stuck and you're holding yourself back, you might secretly be afraid of being seen or of what success could bring. And it sounds strange, right? Because who would fear the very thing that we're working hard for? I used to wonder that too. But every time you get close, every time things start working, you freeze, you shut down, and suddenly you don't feel ready. And this is because there is a part of you that is actually afraid of what comes next. And you might be afraid of being seen, or you might be afraid of what success might mean for you. My name is Pam Jones. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I am the host of Confidence Rewired podcast. I help ambitious people who feel stuck break free from fear, self doubt, and subconscious blocks so they can confidently create a life and the business that they are dreaming about. And in this video, we are going to dive into the fear of success, especially the fear of being seen. And I'll share a personal story. I'll teach you three subtle ways that this fear might be showing up in your life. And I'm going to walk you through a simple but powerful tool to shift it that has really helped me. And so I want to start by sharing a quick story because I have been there as well. A few years ago, I was craving so much more in my career. I felt that I had outgrown my life and I was living in a job that really sucked the life out of me. And every time I wanted to work towards this new business that I wanted to create, I had all these ideas and I knew that I could help people. But every time I made a little bit of progress, I would just shut down. I would procrastinate for weeks on publishing my new website. I would avoid talking to people about my work. And on the surface, I would say that I just wasn't ready, but and I thought that everything needed to be perfect. But deep down, I knew that it was just a voice of doubt. And I realized that I was just terrified of succeeding. And if my business took off, it would mean that I would be more visible and I would have more eyes on me. And I worried, if I would be able to handle that. I worried that people would judge me or think that I am not as good as they would expect me to be. And so looking back, I know that I was really just afraid of being seen for who I really am and with all my imperfections. And so that insight hit me really hard because I didn't actually fear failing, I feared shining too brightly. And I was just so comfortable playing small where I felt safe. And this was a turning point for me when I realized this. And it set me on the path of understanding that the fear of success and working through it, that there are tools that I can use to get out of that. And that's what I did for myself. And now I use that with my clients. So if any of this sounds familiar to you, don't worry. You are not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. In fact, many driven, high achieving people are unknowingly pushing away the thing that they want just when they're on the brink of success. So let me just show you a little bit of how you might be able to recognize this in yourself, because most of us aren't actually afraid of success. We're afraid of what comes with it. So things like being more visible or having people expect more from us or feeling the pressure to perform at a certain level. And so on a deeper level, your subconscious might connect success with this feeling of being exposed or vulnerable, especially if you've had past experiences where you stood out and you were rejected or people judged you. I mean, this has happened to all of us. This has happened to everybody. So even though a part of you wants to grow, there's a part of you that's trying to protect you, that's trying to keep you safe, and that's trying to keep you in the familiar. So the fear of success doesn't really show up like a fear. So you may not think of it as a fear. It's going to show up in your life as procrastination, perfectionism, overwhelm, talking negatively to yourself and saying that you're not good enough. You may downplay your goals. You may sabotage yourself every time things start to work or feel anxious every time things start to go well. And so it's not because you're lazy or you're unmotivated. It's just because there's a part of you that has associated success with stress or pressure or risk. And so the good news is that you can overcome this. It's absolutely possible, but I can't promise that it's going to disappear overnight because you need to work on it a little bit to get its grip off of you. So I got a few key things that you can do. And one of them is you want to acknowledge the fear. Just simply acknowledge that you have a little bit of a fear of success without judging it, without hesitating. Just get a little bit more curious about it. You want to start breaking it down. You want to ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of if I succeed? And write it down even, because maybe your fear is it's not going to be the same for everybody. Maybe your fear is that you be working too many hours and that you're going to lose your freedom, or that your friends and family won't be able to relate with you anymore, or that you will be criticized publicly or by people that you care about. So whatever those fears are, just write them down so you get more clarity on them. And when you read them back to yourself, they actually start to lose some of their power. And they might even start to sound irrational. When you read them back to yourself, you'll be like, well, that's ridiculous. So just allow yourself to reflect on where the fear comes from first. That's the first step. It's where you can kind of connect the dots and it can give you some relief. And you may even carry some shame about it. And so it might be hard to talk about. So just give yourself permission to feel the fear and realize that it's just this learned protective response that your subconscious is trying to protect you and keep you safe. And just, you could even thank it. You can say, I know you're trying to keep me safe, but I got this now, you know? And so now we're going to start reframing some of your thoughts about success and visibility, because a lot of fear of success comes with blowing up the negative possibilities in your mind and ignoring the positive possibilities. Humans are really good at doing this, by the way. So you have to teach your brain a new story that success can be safe, it can be good, and it can be manageable. And so, one powerful way to reframe it for yourself is to just look at everything in life has its pros and its cons. So, staying where you're at right now, that has its downside. And going for your dreams also is going to have its downside. So, let's say that you are running your $1 million business, and that could mean, a lot more financial security for you, but it also could mean that you have to manage a big team of people, and that could be stressful. But if you have a small team, or if you stay small, I mean, then you have, maybe a smaller team. So it'll be less stressful, but you also have less income. So, there's a trade-off there. So either path that you take is going to have its challenges. So you just need to recognize that so you can move forward and realize that whichever path you choose, whatever set of challenges, you need to see which one which challenges you'd rather have. And the chances are you'd prefer the problems of success over the problems of staying stuck. So I often say, would you rather be overwhelmed with too many clients or too much money, or would you rather be overwhelmed with too few opportunities in your life? So you pick whatever the better trade-off is. So now let's talk about shifting from fear to a more positive drive. And one of the great antidotes of fear is remembering your deeper why and who you want to help. And this is my favorite one because when I felt paralyzed about putting myself out there, what finally motivated me was focusing on my mission. And I thought about all the people that I could serve and the people that need me, and tapping into this sense of purpose really lit up me. It lit up this fire inside me. And suddenly this fear of, oh no, people are going to judge me was much smaller. And now the urge is more like, how can I help you? How can I give you what you need? And so my fear of being seen became much smaller when I realized that what I have to offer is genuinely needed by other people. So shifting your focus from what will they think of me to how can I help is just, it's completely life changing for me. And it's can turn how you see yourself as an act of service. So give yourself another reframe. Instead of viewing visibility as a performance where you might fail, just see it as a relationship. See it as you're connecting with people, not that you're performing, because you don't have to be perfect to help people. Let me say that again. You don't have to be perfect to help people. In fact, showing up authentically, with all of your flaws is what makes your message more powerful. And so this mindset shift is really going to help get rid of that vulnerability and that anxiety. And you're not sticking your neck out anymore for like ego or applause. It's because you're doing it because you're doing it as an act of service. So just remember that success doesn't mean that you're losing yourself either. Some people are fearing that if they make it, they'll become a different person, they'll turn into a workaholic, or they'll be isolated. And, these are just stories because you can still succeed on your own terms. You can set boundaries, you can maintain all your relationships, you can stay true to yourself. And so you just need to redefine what success really means for yourself. And that can be really liberating. So maybe success includes more free time for you. Maybe that's what success looks like for you. Maybe it looks like more creativity. Maybe it looks like more help that you can give to others, more service that you can provide to others. And it's not just, all about money or having a million followers. So when you craft whatever your version of success is that aligns with your values, it makes it feel less scary and it's more motivating. And you also need to trust in yourself. And this sounds so cliche, but it is so true because a huge part of fear is doubting whether or not you can handle it, whether or not you can handle what's going to happen if you're successful. So, do you need to just start reminding yourself of everything that you've overcome in the past, all the challenges that you've made it through? We've all made it through challenges, tough jobs, relationship breakups, big personal struggles, anything that you've challenges that you've gone through, those prove that you are resilient and you are capable and you can do it again. And so if your business suddenly blows up and, in a great way, if it blows up and your business is doubling, just trust that you will figure it out. You will know how to manage it. You can hire the people, you can adjust your schedule, however, you can do whatever it takes. You are capable of dealing with that. And so if you become more visible and someone, criticizes you or makes fun of you, just know that you're going to survive that too, because you probably dealt with way worse in your life. So this having self-trust is very important. Just believing in yourself that you can handle it. And this is going to grow the more you recall past evidence, past times when you have past experiences, when you have overcome things. And so, this last step is just to face the fear, but in a gentle and a smart way. Because now that you've acknowledged it and you reframed a lot of the story in your mind, you want to start taking a little bit of action towards your fear to prove to yourself that it's actually safe. So you want to start gradually expanding your comfort zone. So instead of just like diving in head first, you want to just wade into it a little bit, right? So every small action that you take towards being successful, it's going to tell your nervous system, like, see that you didn't die, everything's okay. And so one way to do this is you're going to want to just intentionally expose yourself to what it is that you're afraid of, just in small doses, so you can build up a tolerance. So, because when you avoid things, you're actually feeding the fear. So, this controlled exposure to your fear, it actually diminishes it. So, for example, if you are terrified of public speaking, but if it's important for your career or for your business, you might start speaking up more in small meetings to start out with, maybe on a small Zoom meeting. And then perhaps you do a live video for a group of friends, people that you know. And then you start tackling the bigger presentations. So just taking the small steps first until you start to realize that, okay, I didn't die here, everything's fine. And then you incrementally move your way up. And it's uncomfortable, but it's going to teach your brain that the thing you feared is something that you can handle. And this is the really exciting part because actually you can even simply visualize doing the thing that you fear, and this can help. So, this brings me to that tool that I personally love, especially as a hypnotherapist, because it's something you can use right away and it helps me so much in my life. And this is visualization. And we're just going to call this a guided success visualization. This is a tool that you can use anytime to start reprogramming your subconscious mind to feel safe with the idea of success and with being seen. It's kind of like a mental rehearsal or a self hypnosis because the idea is that by vividly visualizing yourself succeeding, you're actually performing a form of exposure therapy just in your mind. Because research shows that you can just repeatedly imagine a situation that you're anxious about, and your brain starts to realize that it's not dangerous anymore. And your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a real experience or a vividly imagined experience. And that's what's so important here is that you can actually imagine yourself doing something and your subconscious mind doesn't realize that it didn't actually happen. And so this is something that you can do 5 minutes a day. You just want to find a quiet spot, sit down, lie comfortably, close your eyes, take a few slow, deep breaths in to get yourself nice and comfortable. And then you're going to bring to mind a specific moment that represents success to you. Maybe it's launching an offer or signing some new clients or speaking confidently in front of a group of people. So just visualize yourself doing this and visualize it using all of your senses. When I say visualize, I don't necessarily mean just with your eyes. I'm talking about what you hear, what you feel, even what you smell. Like maybe you're outdoors and you can smell the flowers or the trees outside and just visualize and get like this great mental picture of what it really feels like, and let yourself experience that scene as if it's happening right now and feel it in your body and let it feel safe to be visible and successful and powerful. And if you notice that any anxiety comes up, just breathe through it and affirm to yourself, I'm safe. I'm safe to be seen. And then bring yourself back to it. And then just end the visualization by imagining yourself smiling and feeling grounded and calm and fully owning this role, and just carry that energy with you throughout the day. And doing this just for 5 minutes a day is very powerful. The key is being consistent because it's going to help train your nervous system to associate success with safety, with calm and excitement, because you're doing this in a safe environment and you're going to feel calm and comfortable while you're doing it. So if you also struggle to visualize, as some people do, you could also just write these things down. You could journal them instead of visualizing like I just described. You could write them down in a journal in detail and then read it back to yourself like a story. So the important part is you're just engaging emotionally with this scenario of where you succeed. And you could also create a vision board with images of the things that you want to look at daily. That's another way to kind of repeatedly expose yourself to this idea of success. And so if this helped you, I would like you to like this video, comment below, and tell me what's one fear that comes up when you imagine being seen or succeeding. I really can't wait to hear what you say.